All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're looking at a really fascinating open source project called Tsumiki. And what it reveals is a super structured, totally new way to code with AI. It's called AI-assisted test-driven development, or AI-TDD for short. Generative AI is absolutely everywhere right now. It's supposed to be this huge revolution for how we build software. But if you talk to a lot of developers, the reality isn't quite living up to the hype. So it kind of makes you ask this wild question. Is it actually making our jobs worse? So here's the dilemma, right? On one side, you've got this incredible promise. We're all going to code faster, smarter, and be way more efficient. But on the other side, the reality for many is just chaos. The AI spits out this unpredictable code, and suddenly you're stuck in these integration nightmares. The Tsumiki project actually has a perfect name for this messy approach. They call it vibe coding. And I love that description. It's like you're just riffing with the AI, going with the flow, the vibes and momentum. And yeah, it feels super fast at first, but it almost always leads to these really unpredictable results and big-time integration failures later on. And get this. This quote from their case study points to a surprisingly specific limit. They call it the three-function integration wall. How crazy is that? Making one feature is lightning fast, but once you try to stitch about 3 of those AI-generated features together, the complexity just explodes. And at that point, it's literally faster to just go back and code the whole thing by hand. Okay, so this is where the Tsumiki project gets really, really interesting. It basically asks, what if we could have all that AI speed, but, use a disciplined, structured method to get rid of all the chaos? And that brings us to their big solution, AI-assisted test-driven development, AI-TDD. The whole idea is actually pretty simple, but it's so powerful. You take the strict, careful discipline of test-driven development, and you mash it together with the raw, code-generating speed of an AI. Now, with this method, you're not just letting the AI run wild. No way. It's a super structured process where there's a really clear division of labor. The human, that's you lead all the strategic stuff. You create the to-do list, you write the detailed specs, you define all the test cases. Only then, once the sandbox is built, do you let the AI loose to do the implementation. And of course, it all ends with a final human review. So the AI's job is really focused. It runs on what the project calls the RGRV cycle. It's a pretty clever spin on the classic red-green refactor loop from TDD. It generates a failing test, writes the absolute minimum code to make it pass, refactors to make it clean, and then, and this is the key new part, it runs a final validation step to make sure everything actually works the way it's supposed to. Okay. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like a lot of process, a lot of steps, a lot of discipline. Does all of that structure actually pay off in the end? Well, the answer is a massive yes. In their project, the Tsumiki team measured a mind-blowing 20 to 48 times increase in development speed. No, that is not a typo. 20 to 48 times faster. It's just incredible. To put that in perspective for you, a feature that would normally take a developer 1 or even 2 full days of work could now get done from start to finish in less than an hour. It's just a huge testament to what happens when you combine human strategy with AI execution. But here's the plot twist. This amazing, almost unbelievable speed, it created a brand new and completely unexpected problem. A new bottleneck in the system. The project's documentation actually calls this the light and shadow of AI-TDD. The light is obvious, right? Implementation time is just slashed. It's practically gone. But the shadow side is that the time and the sheer brain power needed for code review just explodes. So why did review suddenly become the new bottleneck? Well, think about it. The job totally changed. Instead of writing code, developers are now constantly having to verify that the AI's code is correct, check that it didn't mess with any existing code, and second-guess all the little assumptions the AI made. The constant churn of these super detailed reviews leads to this totally new kind of developer fatigue. And really, what all of this points to is a fundamental shift,
a deep change in what it even means to be a software developer.
We're watching this shift away from the developer as a manual coder, someone who just types out lines of code. The new role is becoming more like a strategic orchestrator, someone who defines the problem, sets the grand strategy, and then guides the AI to actually execute the plan. In this new world, your most valuable skills aren't about the nitty-gritty implementation details anymore. They're about high-level problem solving, having a vision, and thinking strategically. The absolute most critical, creative thing you can do is define the requirements and the design. That's where humans are completely irreplaceable. Let me put it another way. The act of writing the code, implementation, is fast becoming a commodity. It's something an AI can just do. The real core creative act, the thing that is uniquely human, is that high-level design and the strategic direction of the whole project. So, we'll end on this thought. You've probably heard the saying, AI won't take your job, but a developer using AI will. And this Tsumiki project suggests that's absolutely true. So the real question becomes, what kind of developer are you going to be? Are you going to be a vibe coder, just getting swept away in the chaos? Or are you going to be a strategic orchestrator who can harness this incredible new power with discipline and vision? The choice really is yours. Thanks for tuning in.